These are the ingredients that you'll need for today's recipe. Along with that, you'll need some oil. I'm going to use rapeseed oil today in this recipe. If you live in Scotland or have access to rapeseed oil, it's even better than olive oil, so I recommend using it, especially in this recipe. After we made it, it was the first time making it with rapeseed oil, because I just recently purchased it. But it did give it a buttery flavour, which is very pleasant, so I recommend using that if you can. And then I've got some salt. I'm not going to use the pepper, just the salt. So for this recipe, I've got enough cabbage and carrot to make up a 4:2 ratio. So 4 cups of cabbage to 2 cups of carrot. Both of them will be shredded. So to the left, I've got 2 green chilies and then 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds. On the right hand side, I've got 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds and a clove of garlic. You'll need a mortar and pestle, and then a grater, chopping board, a knife, as well as a frying pan with its accompanying utensil so that you can fry the cabbage and the carrot. We're going to begin by slicing the onions lengthwise. Next, take the chopping board and place it across your worktop, and then take your grater and select the side where you can slice cabbage into really thin slices. Then begin by grating your cabbage first before we move on to the carrot. When you're grating vegetables, it's best to use a hand guard to protect yourself. It's very likely that you're left with things that couldn't make it through the grater, like loose leaves of the cabbage that have peeled off. So I'm just going to use the knife to cut them into similar strips like the grater has grated my cabbage into. So if you use a grater to grate your cabbage, you'll have uniform slices of cabbage, which means it's nicer to look at, but also that it will cook all at the same time. I'm going to flip my grater over to the other side so I can begin grating my carrot. I'm going to chop my carrots into 2 so that I have better control and I'm much more closer to the grater so it's not going to break off. Again, this is what you end up with, so even pieces of carrot that will look nice and also cook at the same time. Place your frying pan on a medium-high heat. Begin adding your oil in now, making sure that it's completely warm through. After the oil has heated up, now's the time to add the mustard seeds in. Wait until the mustard seeds start to pop. Then begin adding in your onions first. Slice up your chilies now and then add them in along with the onions. I ended up doing this later on because I forgot, but now's the time to add them in and make sure both the onions and the chilies are browned to a golden brown color. Once the onions become almost see-through and browned around the edges, now's the time to add the cabbage and the carrot mixture. Once you've added the mixture into the frying pan, you will need to fold it in so that the flavoured oil at the bottom is incorporated with all the other raw vegetables. Don't forget to add in your salt. Keep stirring occasionally to prevent the vegetables from burning. Some people would add a lid onto the frying pan at this moment. What that does is it helps it to cook faster and it also stays true to its natural color, so there's no browned edges. However, I do like the crispy edges, so I'm not going to do that. Finally, we're going to use the mortar and pestle to grind the cumin seeds and the garlic, not to a fine paste, but just enough so that it releases its flavor. And then add it into the mixture in the frying pan. This is the final layer of flavor that we'll be adding to the dish, so make sure it's evenly distributed by mixing it in well. And that's it. So you have a very flavoursome and fragrant side dish that you can have along with your lunch or dinner. This is a really tasty recipe and I hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching.